Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another StoryCraft. I'm Miss Emily, and I have another brand new book here at the library to share with you guys this morning. And as always, after the book, I have a craft to show you that you can make at home. So let's get started with the book, and while we're reading the book, see if you can guess what our craft might be about today. Okay? So this book is called Tou-Can't, a little sister story, and this is written by Brandon Todd. And this is a story about a big toucan sister and a little toucan sister. So these birds are a type of bird called a toucan, and that's going to be important, and you guys will hopefully be able to figure out while we read, but I'll double check at the end to make sure. So, Tou-Can't, a little sister story. I am little. My sister reminds me of that fact every day. She ties her own shoes. I too can. I too can't. She makes her own breakfast. I too can. I too can't. She reads books by herself. I too can. I too can't, can't. I want to be big. I've tried stretching. I've tried wearing her shoes. I've even tried eating her food. I too can't. It's not fair that I'm little. I want to stay up late and watch scary movies and reach the candy bowl on top of the fridge and go to school all day just like her. My sister looks smaller today. Oh no, what's going on with big sister? She looks like she might be sick. I help get her slippers, big sister says. I too can't. Little sister says, I too can. I help get her snacks. I too can't. I too can. I tell her a good night story. I too can't. Too can. Being big is hard work. I think I deserve a reward. Crash! Oh no, little sister fell down. I think I'm done being big now. I am little. My sister still reminds me. But I know it's the little things that matter the most. And look, there they are together making some cookies and cleaning up and making a pillow fort and running around and reading together and playing together. I too can. I too can too. The end. So did you guys figure out why it was important that they're called toucans? Because if you say the word toucan, it sounds like toucan, but the book was all about little sister feeling like she couldn't do things. So Tou-Can't. That's kind of silly. But this is a really sweet book. I hope you guys get along with your brother and sister, at least sometimes. I have a little brother, and sometimes we get along, and sometimes maybe not quite so much. But in the end, we love each other, and we help take care of each other. So, speaking of toucans, did you guys guess what our craft for today is going to be? I have a fun toucan craft that I'm going to show you guys how to do that you can do at home. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and tilt my camera down. Okay. So for this craft, you're going to need a couple pieces of paper. I chose a brightly colored piece of paper. I have blue. It could be any color you guys want. And then I recommend having some white paper and some black paper. And I have a little scrap here that I was showing you, that I'll show you how I was doing it so I don't waste any paper today. So I have my pieces of paper, some crayons or some markers or some colored pencils, whatever you would like. Glue stick, a pencil, and with your grown-ups' help, some scissors. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do for my toucan is I'm going to take my black piece of paper and I'm going to draw the toucan head. So I'm going to draw this piece, and this is basically just kind of like a big oval. So all I'm going to do with my pencil is I'm just going to draw how I would like my toucan's head to look. And I know with the pencil on the black, it's hard for you guys to see it on the camera. But in 1 second, I don't know if you guys can kind of, yeah, you can see it there. See, I kind of drew like a big half circle. And now carefully with my scissors, I'm going to cut that piece out. Now, as always, be very careful with your scissors. You don't want to cut yourself or anything else. So there's my toucan head. So now I'm going to take my bright colored paper and I'm going to put my toucan head on the side so I can see where it's going to be. I want to line it up with the edge. So I'm just going to hold it down for the moment, and I'm going to then draw where I want and how big I want the toucan's beak to be. So like here you can see, here's his head, and then here's the beak. So on this piece of blue paper, I'm going to trace along the side here a little bit. And then, where did I go to? There we go. So I'm going to go to here and kind of come straight out. And then I'm going to go from the top over here. And I'm going to bring it down. And connect it. Okay. So now that I have this shape drawn on my paper, I'm going to take my scissors, and you might want to have your grown-ups help you with this to get started. You can gently fold your piece of paper and cut right on that fold, so that then when you open it back up, you have a little bit of a hole. Can you guys see? Let's see if I can stick there we go. There's my finger through the hole in the paper. So now you can put your scissors through the hole and cut out to the line that you drew, and then carefully cut along that, cut along that line. Takes a little bit of practice to cut like this, but you'll get the hang of it. Come all the way up here, turn it around, cut along this line. And then one more turn. And right back to where I started from. I'm just going to smooth that out. There we go. So now I cut out a hole in my paper that's the shape of the toucan's beak. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of white paper, and it doesn't have to be a small piece like this. It can be of a size, the same size as your blue paper. I just have a small piece because I was reusing it from when I did it the first time. So you'll see I've got a smaller piece here. So you can use a smaller piece, you can use a big piece, but you're going to take this piece and you're going to color different colors on your piece of white paper. So you can do stripes like I did. You could do all yellow and orange maybe, like the toucan beaks here. You could do all kinds of crazy patterns and designs. I'm just going to do some more stripes real quick because I think that'll probably be fastest. But I'm just going to do a couple of stripes, and make sure you have your piece of paper on something so you're not coloring on the table. So let's let's see, I'm trying to use some tropical colors because toucans are a tropical bird. And I like bright, happy colors. So again, like I said, I'm just going to do some stripes. You guys can do all kinds of crazy designs. It'll be really neat to see what will poke through once we put this all together. So I'm going to do a couple more stripes. Oops. You guys can't even see that. I'm sorry. Let's see. Do I have a pretty blue? All right, and let's see. Do I have a purple? I do. Let's do some purple at the end. All right, and this doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to go all the way out to the edges because only part of this is going to show on our final project. Okay, so once you're done coloring in your stripes or your spots or your designs, however you want to do it, you can then take your piece of paper that you cut out the hole in, and you can line it up with those stripes that you just colored in, however you want it to look. So you can you guys saw, I kind of moved it back and forth. If I want a little bit of purple and a lot of yellow, or if I want to move it the other way, I could even keep it this way and have a little bit of yellow and show a little bit of white. However you guys want to do it. I'm going to do like that. So once you kind of figure out how you want to do it, flip your blue paper over, your colored paper over, and then take your glue stick and go right around the edge of the beak, and maybe out just a little bit further to help your paper stick. If you've got a bigger piece of paper, you want to go out further with the glue. But since I'm using a little piece, I don't need to go very far. So now I'm going to flip my piece of paper back over, realign it with my colors. And that's the nice thing about a glue stick. You have a little bit of time to fix it before you glue it down. So then you can glue it down. So now I have a toucan beak. And it's really neat to see how your design ends up poking through. So now I'm going to go back to my toucan head. And if you guys can see, because I traced it, it's going to fit right up against the edge of the paper and the beak. So I'm going to flip that over, put some glue on there as well, just around the edge. You don't need a ton. And then flip it back over and carefully line it back up. There we go. So now I have a toucan with a beak. And the last thing I'm going to do, and this is where my little scrap of white paper comes in handy, I was tracing the cap of the glue to do this. You guys can either just draw a circle or you can trace something that you have that's the right size. I was tracing my glue cap and now I'm just going to cut that out. And that's going to be the toucan's eye. I'm just going to come around and boop. And then a quick dab of glue. And then I'm going to bring my toucan back over here. And I think I want his eye to go right there. So now that that's glued on, let's see. I'm going to take a black crayon. Where did my black go? There it is. And I'm going to color in part of his eye. And then I want my toucan to have a colored eye. So I'm going to take a little bit of some blue and I'm going to go a little bit around the outside edge just to give him a little bit of color in his eye. And there we go. There's my toucan. And I like this project because all of your, if you make more than one, or you and your friend or your brothers and sisters make these, they're all going to look a little bit different. Everybody's colors on their beaks and their patterns are going to be different. And even the shape of the toucan head and the toucan beak are going to be a little bit different. So you see even this one and this one, let's see, can I get them both in? They're a little bit differently shaped, just like they would be in the wild. So there we go, guys. There are my toucans. I'm going to quick tilt everything back up and say thank you so much for joining me again, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.